So good morning, if morning yun yung nakita. Good afternoon if it's afternoon, and then good evening if it's evening. So I am back again, and today we are going to talk about the cognitive development of the primary schoolers. And nato ang focus karon is on the children aged around 7 to 11 years old. We will be looking at Piaget's concrete operational stage to understand how ilahang thinking is developing. And knowing these milestones is importante kayo ni sa mga teachers, future teachers, parents, and caregivers para ang bata matabangan nato sila along the way. So, Piaget's concrete operational stage with the ages of 7 to 11. So, during this stage, dili na magsugod nga ang ilahang thinking logical about sa mga concrete events. This means that they can think about the things that are real, that they can see and touch. However, nagyapon sila difficulty with abstract or hypothetical concepts. So, logical thinking about concrete events. Children can now think about the things that are real. Like if you show them a toy, they can think about it logically. Dili na pareha sa una nga gagmay pa sila, ang ilaha bitong process wasn't as clear. So example, like if you have a ball of clay and you flatten it, they know it's still the same amount of clay. Kay balo na sila nga that the amount doesn't change even if the shape is different. But they struggle with abstract or hypothetical concepts. Abstract nga mga ideas like justice or fairness are still difficult for them to understand. Example, kung if you talk about democracy, it might be hard for them to really grasp the concept because it's dili man siya concrete. And then their thinking is based on real experience. Ilang thinking is based jud sa tinuod nga panghitabo. Example, they understand nga kinahanglan og payong when it rains, kay nabasa na sila before when they doesn't have an umbrella. And improved reasoning, still developing problem solving. Although nag-improve ang reasoning, but still developing with the problem solving skills. Their reasoning is better, but ilahang problem solving skills are still developing. They can solve problems pero step by step. Pero sometimes, lisod paghapon nila mag-think outside of the box. And then, we have, next slide, we have development of logic. This is very important. Kaya, at this stage, importante ang development of logic at this stage. We have inductive logic. They can use inductive logic. This means that they go from a specific experience to a general principle. Example, if every time they touch a hot stove, they get burned. And they can say nga, if you touch a hot stove, makapaso. But, they struggle with deductive logic. Deductive logic is still difficult for them, which is going from a general principle to a specific conclusion. Example, if you say, all birds can fly, and then penguins are birds, they might struggle to conclude nga ang penguins should be able to fly. And then we have reversibility. Naatay concept nga gitawag og reversibility that develops during this stage. Reversibility is knowing that actions and relationships can be reversed. Pwede mabalik. Okay? And then arithmetic, understanding nga if 3 plus 4 equals 7, then 7 minus 4 equals 3. Then they understand that addition has a corresponding subtraction. Another example dialogue of the teacher and Jacob. So the teacher says, Jacob, do you have a brother? Jacob says, yes, Matthew. Yes, Matthew. And then the teacher is asked again, does Matthew have a brother? And then Jacob answers, yes. Then this shows that he understands reversibility. That if Jacob is Matthew's brother, then Matthew is also Jacob's brother. Cognitive milestones overview. First, children move from egocentric thinking to decentration. Meaning, wala na lang sila nag-think nga ang world nag-revolve lang around them. They have started to see other people's point of view or other people's perspective. And then their thinking becomes more logical and mature. Meaning, ilang thinking becomes more organized. And then, skills develop in sequence. They need to learn one skill before they can learn the next. And they begins to handle complex sequential and symbolic tasks. They can now do tasks nga daghan og steps na ay order and are symbolic. And then, reasoning still concrete. Ilang reasoning is still in the present based on what they can see and experience now. Next slide. Sequential skill development. The development of skills has an order. First, dependence on previously learned skills. They need to have a foundation before they can learn something new. Ages 6 to 8, the rapid learning of new skills. Kusog kayo sila mag-learn at this stage. And after 8 years old, growth becomes steady and gradual. The development isn't as fast, but it continues. Fourth, specific milestone in middle childhood. There are specific milestones that they will reach. They can now tell left from right. Language and communication improve greatly. Enjoy sharing stories about themselves and their family. Use learned language in play and conversation. Understands time, days of the week and routines. Enjoy rhymes, riddles, and jokes. Longer attention span can follow detailed stories. Learning letters and reading simple words. And then, next slide, information processing skills. Huna-huna nga ilang brain is like a computer. It receives information, process and transform it, restores and retrieves it, and generate responses. The human mind as a computer system. Cognitive growth. Developing logical strategies to solve problems. Cognitive growth involves developing strategies and rules to solve problems. And we have next slide, the implications for childcare, education, and parenting. Unsaon na to pagtabang ang mga bata? How can we help the children? First, recognize individual intelligent profiles. Matag bata, lahi-lahi og strengths og weakness. So you must recognize their individual intelligence profiles. And the next, help children use strengths and improve weakness. Tabangan sila nga gamiton ilang strengths and improve ilahang weakness. And third, design lessons addressing multiple intelligence. The lessons should interest everyone. Okay? If you have to make a video presentation, something bitaw nga makita ginila ba, nag-demonstrate. Kana mag-show makakuha na sila o kanang makapukaw sila ang interest. And that's need gani kayo. And then we have encourage daily reading para ma-improve ilang vocabulary. And then, expose children to museums, art exhibits, and historical places para mas daghan sila ma-learn about the world. And then, reduce screen time and increase face-to-face interaction. Mas maayo nga magstorya sila, personal, kaysa magtanaw sa screen. And lastly, provide meaningful hands-on experiences. Make learning fun through activities. The concrete operational stage is very important for the cognitive development sa mga bata. And by understanding this stage and supporting them properly, we can help them develop lahang logical thinking, problem-solving skills, and love of learning. That's all. I hope na may na-learn sa kuha, nasabdan na ninyo akong pag-discuss. Thank you very much and salamat kayo. And I will see you again for the next video.